Lions and Leos, we are very fortunate today to have as our presenter, Wendy Labarrie. You have known Wendy, I guess, in other positions, so this evening we will hear from her as she presents to us on committee chairs. Wendy Stephen Labarrie joined the Lions movement in 1999, first as a Leo Club member. During her tenure as Leo, she served as Leo president twice and was awarded the Leo president of the zone. In 2009, she moved on to becoming a Lions Club member, exactly 1 week after getting married. And yes, part of her honeymoon was spent at her Lions Club induction ceremony. Wendy has served as Leo advisor, secretary, director, and various committee chairpersons within her club. In 2011-2012, she served as Lions president, where she was awarded the Lions president of her zone, and her Lions secretary and treasurer were also awarded in the zone that year. The following year, 2012-2013, she served on the cabinet of Lion Claudius Boncampo as Zone 3C chairperson. From 2013 to present, she has served as the District 60B IT coordinator. While serving as the IT district coordinator in 2018 on the team of the then District Governor Len Sherwin Greenwich, she was awarded a Melvin Jones Fellow. Wendy is a Management Information System graduate of the St. George's University. Having worked in the information technology field for the last 20 years, she has a wealth of managerial expertise and support experience for users in this technological era. Wendy believes in Michael P. Watson's quote, which says, "Strong people don't put down others, they lift them up." Lions and Leos, let's welcome Wendy Stevens Labarrie as she presents to us on the committee chairs.
Thank you very much, Lan Sherwin. Good afternoon to the Lions and Leos with us for our committee chairs presentation this afternoon. We'll start off this afternoon in an attempt to inquire of the clubs that's represented here today. Feel free to unmute your microphones and let's begin. This is the question that I require responses on. Of course, if you're the only person from your club, then you got to take one for the team and be the one to represent. I am hoping I can hear from at least 10 clubs. The question: state your name and the club that you are part of, and have you ever served as a committee chairperson? Let's go.
Good afternoon, greetings, fellow Lions and Leos. Lion Denise Belgrave, Lions Club of St. Michael. And yes, I have served as a committee chairperson.
Thank you, Lion Denisa.
Good evening. Good afternoon, sorry, fellow Lions. Lion Hazel Selman, Melvin Jones Fellow, Lions Club of Christchurch West. And yes, I have been a committee member.
Thank you, Lion Hazel.
Good evening, Lion Gifter. Good evening, Lion Gifter Felicien from Lions Club of Gross Lane. No, I have not been a committee chairperson.
Okay, Lion.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lion Kim Joseph, MJF, Antigua Lions Club. Yes, I've been a committee chair before.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Lion Eleanor P. Clark from Christchurch West, and yes, I've been a committee chairperson before.
Thank you. Region 3 seems to be running the show.
Good afternoon, Lion Micah Edwards, St. George's Lions Club, and yes, I've served as chairperson before.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'm Paulette Dennis from the Lions Club of Mandeville. I've served as committee chairperson.
Thank you, Lion Paulette.
Good afternoon. Lion Dolores Hodge, MJF, from the St. Thomas East End Lions Club. Yes, I have been a chairperson.
Nice to hear from you, St.
Good afternoon. I'm Lion Avalor Forbes. Yes, I've been a committee chairperson, but need more info.
Thank you, Lion Avalor.
Good afternoon. I guess I have to. Good afternoon.
I'm Lion Levine Griffiths. I'm from the New Kingston Lions Club and have not served before.
Okay, thank you, Lion Levine.
Good afternoon, Lion Alphonse Gaunt from the St. Martin Lions Club, MJF. I have been a committee chair before.
Thank you, Lion Alphonse.
Good afternoon, I'm Lion Judith from the Savannah Lions Club. The committee before.
Hey, Lion Judith.
Good afternoon, I'm Lion Sharon Pig at St. James Lions Club and I've served as a committee chairperson many times.
Thank you, St. James. Can I have one more?
Good afternoon.
William, St. James Lions Club, and I have served as a committee chairperson.
Yeah, Olivia.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
Good afternoon. My name is Elton Richardson. I am Elton Richardson, never served before.
What club are you from?
St. Martin's Lions Club.
Thank you. Do we have any Leos with us? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Lions, for partaking. Okay, we'll get started now. For this second round, I need two other persons. So somebody who have not responded before. We'll go to slide 2. And your question is, what do you think a committee chairperson is? Can I have two persons?
Good afternoon. I am Lion Zachary Hippolyte from the Lion Clubs of Grosley in St. Lucia.
Yes, Lion Zach.
I believe a committee chairperson is the person responsible for the running of a committee. They would represent that committee, make decisions, and take actions in terms of the effective running of that committee. So in other words, you represent it. You're the head. Nothing should happen without your knowledge, and you are that important. Make rules. You're responsible for the management of the members in the committee and everything revolving that committee. That's what I believe the chairperson is.
Thank you for your contribution, Lanzak. Somebody else?
Good afternoon.
This is
I am.
Oh, please go ahead.
I am Lion Samantha Joseph of the Lions Club of Grosley. I think the responsibilities of a committee chair member is to plan and attend and run committee meetings, carry out agreed actions set by the committee to ensure matters are dealt with in an orderly and efficient manner, and so forth.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lance. Let's hope we continue to have that sort of engagement throughout. So if I were to call on somebody again, you would still be there and willingly be able to answer me throughout the session. So the simplest form I was able to attain for what a committee chairperson is, it's a presiding officer of the group. Remember, as the head of the group, you're not taking on all the duties yourself. That's why you're the chair. Instead, you're sharing some of that duties with the rest of your members. So we'll get straight into it. Tools that make a successful chairperson. You must have an agenda when you come to your meeting. The plan of action, clear goals, a budget, knowledge of your club's key network, knowledge of Zoom, WhatsApp group chats, Lions Connect, etc. You ought to be able to delegate. Be a good strategist. Consider succession planning. Have an ability to represent confidences. Ensure decisions are taken and recorded. What you should not be as a chairperson. You should not be the person who talk the most at the meetings. Again, it's a committee. It's not just you in the committee. Try not to cut off persons in the discussions. Do not have your meetings becoming unproductive. Please, I know we are humans, but do not lose your temper. Allow 2 or more persons to dominate the meeting is definitely a no-no. Do not have the meeting going on and on and on, making me lose the zeal. Next time I may not want to attend. So a committee chairperson. A committee chairperson is the one who establishes the full responsibility of the chair position. You ensure that the committee is properly managed and functioning effectively. There is a lot more to chairing a committee than just preparing the agenda and showing up for the meeting and facilitating the meetings. Just to go into a little history of the committees that Lions International expect us to have in a club. These are the ones we are mandated by our constitution and bylaws that we should have in our committees, in our club, sorry. Your global action team, which is chaired by the club president and includes the club first vice president serving as the leadership chairperson. The club membership chairperson and the club service chairperson should also be a part of this committee. Of course, they are supported by the board of directors, and they develop and initiate a coordinated plan to expand humanitarian service, active membership growth, and develop future leaders. That's your global action team. So already you have 1 committee. That is standard. The next committee you should have, a constitution and bylaws committee. Our constitution often change. So we should have, even if it's just 1 person, quarterly, reminding us what our club constitution states and what the bylaws says. All amendments, procedures should be updated through that person to the club members. A finance committee chaired by the club treasurer to establish a detailed budget for the approval of the club's board of directors, ensure proper documentation and authorization of funds, arrange for the annual audit of your club accounts, and ensure the delivery of all financial information to the successor. Continuing with your club committees. Membership committee. The membership committee, of course, is chaired by the membership director. This committee ensures there is membership growth. They actively recruit members and ensure, which is the most important to me, that there is membership satisfaction among the members that are currently in the club. So before you even bring in persons, if the Lions and Leos that you currently have are not satisfied with being a member, how will new members enjoy themselves? This committee also verifies the qualifications of potential members who are considered by the club's board of directors. The club membership committee should include last year membership chairperson, a vice chairperson, and any other club members who are interested in serving on that committee. Your marketing communications committee. Of course, this committee is chaired by your marketing communications chairperson to ensure effective internal and external communication, reshape the public's opinion, and improve visibility of club's activities. We know it has been said time and time again that Lions Club is a secret. Marketing communications, you ought to change that. Service committee, chaired by the club service chairperson, assist in developing service goals and action plans, coordinates and ensures the effective leadership of service projects relating to the global service framework by supporting chairpersons assigned to each club service initiative. This committee sometimes responsible for applying the relevant LCIF grants and developing community partnerships as approved by your club's board of directors. Continuing, your club Information Technology Committee. This committee assists members by providing access and/or support to online tools and communication as needed. This committee provides support and serve as your club webmaster. In other words, this committee works hand in hand with your PR committee, getting that secret out there. Your leadership committee, chaired by the first vice president of your club, notifies the club members of training opportunities that's offered by the district, multiple district, and Lions Club International. So your leadership committee chair would have been the one, or the leadership committee on a whole would have been the one informing you of this training that is now being done by the GLT team. Of course, we know that there are special committees that are formed from time to time. The president may appoint with the approval of the board of directors. Special committees as may be necessary in his or her judgment of the board of directors. So these are the standard ones that the Constitution and bylaws have laid out for us that we should have in our clubs. Now, how can we increase attendance and participation at committee meetings? I am a Lions Club member and I know how this works. We start hot and sweaty at the beginning of the year. And then some of the committee members, we do not see them anymore. So here are some pointers as to how we can increase attendance and participation. At the first meeting, ensure all committee members understand what the committee is about and understand their role on the committee. Ensure they have up-to-date information, especially on if your club have signature projects. You cannot be a part of a committee and you're continuing a signature project and you do not even know when that signature project started. Even if you started in the club last week, that is the ground base as to where you should start with planning for that particular signature project for this year. Ensure everybody on the committee is informed and on board with planning that particular activity. Assign a recording secretary. Generate minutes for each committee meeting to get closure on items and help members comprehend the progress that is being made by the committee. Attempt as best as possible to provide individual assignments to committee members. Yes, this is for you, committee chairs. Keep everybody involved. Schedule your projects and activities way ahead of time. Conduct committee evaluations. That includes a clear evaluation process as to where each committee member stands. Perhaps even give a written report about the strengths that the persons on the committee have. There's no need for us to have a member wasting time on a committee that they are not interested in. Let us keep them where they are if they are serving there well. If your strong suit is fundraising, because you know persons out there, you know how to go out and get $1,000 quickly for us and follow up with a letter thereafter, by all means, stick on fundraising. If you're a doctor, you may be a vision doctor, but that doesn't say you can't serve on a cancer committee. You are a doctor. You still will be able to serve properly on any of those. In your committee reports, provide as much detailed information as possible. And of course, when you have new members, get them involved in the committees as soon as possible. Moving on. Some good committee pointers. You are supposed to learn a great deal from each other serving in the committee. The learning does not always have to be from an expert who somehow feels because they've been chairperson for the last 40 years that they have it all or know it all. You'll be surprised that same new member that you just got involved in that committee may bring a wealth of knowledge that can improve on a project or an activity that your club is planning. Again, have a budget. You are planning an event from beginning to end, so you are to cover every aspect of it in your budget. Whether it's actually costing your club or not, you ought to put a cost to it. You are having an activity at your national stadium in your country. What is the transportation cost for your members to get there? Do not take these numbers for granted. Count every bit of it. Your hours for the project or activity begin from the time you commence planning your project until it is executed. So your first committee meeting is on July 1st. Your activity is executed on October 1st. All the hours between those months ought to be recorded. They all contribute towards the execution of the project. The benefits of functioning as a committee have spawned a wide variety of approaches and formats. Work with your club secretary to formulate a reporting form that makes it easier for her to do her monthly reports to international. Whether you choose to have the recording secretary of your committee work with the club secretary, or whether you choose to do that yourself to create this form that you in turn will give to your secretary so that no questions are asked. When she is ready to provide her report, all the detailed information is provided. That same hours, another important factor, that is where you document every hour. So when the secretary goes to make her report, she does not have to be wondering or thinking it is only the 4 hours you spent at the project she should be recording to international, because all your reporting forms would have been on point to her so that she knows exactly how she's going about giving that final report. Your committees may be as few as 5 persons or as large as 20 persons, of course, dependent on your club size. If you have a club membership of 80 persons, then you should be doing magnificent projects with 10-member committees, 15-member committees. Regardless, monitor your progress towards your committee goals. Continuing with the pointers. Prior to your year of service, review the information and notes from your previous committee chairperson on the particular projects and activities you're about to embark on. The last time the project failed, why did it fail? Did you do a synopsis? Did your club have any discussions on it at all? Are you going to attempt it again? Do you think it was good? It's just 1 or 2 things need tuning? These are what you start discussing when you start as the committee chairperson heading to your first committee meeting. If there are unfinished goals and commitments from the previous administration, then of course, expect to complete it. Do not just get on board with new projects and dump the other ones that maybe was 75% into planning. Finish those off. Again, be familiar with your club's bylaws, procedures, and policies. As soon as the year starts, schedule your first committee meeting. Some clubs even do it in June, so that come July, you're ready to go because you have already scheduled all your activities and know what is happening for the year. So it's just to pass that in and get going. Whichever works for your club. Decide how the communication team will get involved in your projects and activities. Remember, the communication team is that important. They ought to get that health fair out there for you. They ought to get whatever activity you have upcoming out there. And again, always be on top of writing and submitting your monthly reports to your club secretary, who in turn, of course, will pass it on to your board of directors. So again, we take a little break at this point. Having spoken all that information, let's see how we can get it going. So at this point, you're going to go into breakout rooms. I'm giving you, let me see how many persons we have, 75, okay. 70. Okay, I'm putting you into breakout rooms. I'm giving every breakout room a topic. With all the discussions we've had so far, of course, you're going to select a committee chairperson, your recording secretary, and the rest of your members to discuss a project or an activity. So I'm going to put you in the breakout rooms, and then I'm going to come in and tell you what your topic is. You're going to be granted 10 minutes to come up with the particular planning of the topic that you are going to be given. Okay. So let's do that now. Right, we won't do it in numerical order because that would be no fun. So we'll just randomly select which group goes when. I'll start with 4.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Wendy, you probably heard me say start with group 4.
No,
because I like to go first and then listen to the others.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, as you will know, 10 minutes is no time at all to be able to put together a topic that you heard a second ago. But I think that we were able to do a pretty decent job, although we could have discussed some things to death. But what we tried to do to zoom in, and sorry, my name is Nicola Callender. We had a lot of persons in the group. I'm sure that if you look back at your breakout, you'll be able to tell those persons. I remember like Malcolm, like Dave, like Beatrice, right? I don't remember everybody there. She was Lion Kathy, who was also, she's a very new Lion to the Lions Club of Central. I noted that here when I was recording. I think those are the things that you need to know to be specific, and so that we don't go too long as I can. Our assignment was to plan a childhood cancer event. Our discussions involved possibly looking at how we could support a person who now understood that they were that the child had cancer. We also looked at honoring children and those persons involved in the whole cycle of childhood cancer, that being the children with cancer, the healthcare professionals, everyone involved in the organizing possibly a visit to the pediatric cancer ward at a hospital. And we chose to do a seminar. Coming out of that, we chose to do a seminar in September, which is Childhood Cancer Month. We were able to look at the who, what, why, where. Of course, we didn't get through all of that. 10 minutes is indeed a very long time when you have 10 persons speaking and you want to be courteous to hearing all the ideas. Right. So we would have looked at the how, and we determined that we would use possibly the Zoom format, looking into the webinar effect, also having provisions for persons to be able to hear it on live broadcast on radio, television, for those persons who may be out of the Zoom loop. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, there are a couple of those persons still left over even after 2021 and the pandemic. So there are a couple of persons who will not be covered by Zoom, very, very few. And we determined who would be doing the presentation. We thought it would be nice to have doctors who would be involved, possibly nurses who are intimately involved in caring, counselors, because as you know, once persons are affected, then of course the family needs counseling, friends, everybody needs counseling. So it would be important to hear from them. And of course, a person who is a person living with cancer. Those would have been some of the persons identified. Very importantly, we thought it was important to discuss most of those things. And then once we have the general idea, then come to look at a budget. So we did start the etchings of our budget. And even as persons were talking, I was indeed jotting down some things because I like to think of myself as a budget specialist. And so, and therefore, in coming out of some of the budget as far as the radio is concerned, even though we figured that we would have to pay for the Even though we would have to pay for the budget, sorry, for the radio, we thought we could assign possibly like $500 to there. We know that we would possibly use a Zoom. We probably would use a Zoom belonging to some person. However, there's a cost slightly associated with Zoom, possibly about $17.99 US. And that's where we got.
Very good, very
so,
good.
So I would like you to send those team members to us. Let's look at how we can possibly put together a childcare event for the district at some point in time in September coming up this year.
Yep, sounds good, Nicola. Make notes of those names and we can get those email addresses for you to get going with that.
Thank you so very much.
All right.
I want to thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you, Group 4. Okay, moving on. Group 1. Okay, then should I call the names? So we did not have a
Group 5 can go if you
What
want.
group are you now, Lion?
Group 1, please.
Group 1?
Yes, thank you.
That okay? Lion Wendy.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Lion Judith of the
Okay.
Mar Lions Club.
Okay.
We planned a fundraiser, which we will be doing a flea market. It will cost us, our budget is at $2,500, and we will be looking at 75% profit. So we are looking to sell $10,000 worth of flea market goods. We will be getting our donations from self. We as Lions will be donating clothes or whatever we have at home that we haven't used for the last year, as well as our family. Organizations, we'll be calling an organization that we have partnered with for over time, and our friends as well. We will be having it at the mall. And because it's COVID time, we'll be sanitizing as they enter, and we'll be giving away free masks to anyone that is not wearing a mask when they enter. We will also have Lion Zachary doing the IT promotion, and we will have 3 people assigned. We had 10 in our group, so we will be having 3 tents. 3 people will be there assigned to work, and we'll have a runner that will pass the refreshment to each tent, and if somebody needs assistance coming from their car or to go back to their tents. And that's where we basically
wonderful, Andrew.
so
Wonderful.
we are complete, only the date and time.
But just about to say, only thing you're missing is the date. I'm ready to come to that flea market, land, Judith.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Group 1. Landon, Landonisa, I know you were very anxious to give us your feedback from your group. Feel free to go ahead.
Thank you, Lion Wendy. Team 5 were charged with the task of planning a project for Vision. We undertook a Vision drive for school children between the ages of 8 to 11 from 2 primary schools, Belgrave Primary and Edwards Primary, to get their eyes screened on World Vision Day on October 14th, 2021 at 10 a.m. for 3 hours. We prepared a proposed budget to include transportation, refreshments, and thank you tokens to the Jordan's Eye Care Center. Each member will be responsible for playing a part in this project. 1 person assigned to transportation, 1 assigned to the students, 1 assigned to dealing with the actual eye care center and arranging the actual visit, and so on. So the students and teachers will also be educated about the importance of the care of your eye. And plans are in place. Thank you very much.
How much is it costing us?
Well, we have a proposed budget of $1,530.
Thank you. Thank you, Lionel.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Group 5. Okay, moving on. Group 3.
All right, good afternoon, Lions. So I am Lion Denise, and the members of the committee for Group 3 are Sherlock, Lions Sherlock, Avaloy, Alphonse, Gifter, and we also have Lions Judy and Sherwin. On our team, what we were asked to do was a project on hunger. So as a committee together, we decided that we will do a food drive, and we have identified 5 schools, and will be given gift package to 15 students per school, which is a total of 75 persons. What we have decided to do is to, first of all, for the committee, we have divided the committee in terms of roles and responsibility. So we give each committee member a task. So we have Sherlock and Avaloy looking at sourcing the donation items. We have Alphonse making sure that we are sticking to the budget, actually working with a zero budget as much as possible. We have Gifter, who is going to be working with the schools in terms of the students that schools that we're going to give the packages to. And myself, I will be working with the communication and ensuring that the proper reporting is done. So we have identified the five schools. The food package will include sugar, rice, tin stuff, flour, and mixed drinks. Our plan is to write letters to sponsors for them to come on board in terms of this hunger project. Once we have gotten those items, we will work with the schools, write a letter to the school outlining the date, what this project is about, the lives we're trying to impact, identify a date that we can actually come in to hand out these packages. To ensure that we get the maximum support of our club, we will be organizing a packaging day. So we'll be inviting all the members of our club to come out to package these 75 items. And thereafter, the date that we have decided to deliver these items to the respective schools is actually May 28th, because we are targeting children and it's in Child's Month. So we want to give back. We will also organize that we have photography there. So we will capture the moment that we can tell a story. Thereafter, our public relations team will ensure that we will do a press release and that all reports will be uploaded to the My Lions and provided to the president and the secretary. What we also said, because the time was so short, we'll have to have continuous planning to review our process. And after the project is completed, we will do an assessment to see if it worked, what were the good areas, what were the weaknesses, so we can carry forward to other projects. So we're always learning. And that is it from the team members. Did I miss anything, team members?
Yes, Lion Hazel was responsible for the packing.
Oh, sorry, Lion Hazel. Yes, Lion Hazel will be responsible. I am so sorry. The most important team member, Lion Hazel, will be responsible for organizing that packaging day, ensuring that all the members are out in their numbers to really pack these items filled with love to give to our children. So that is it. The Lions.
Well done.
Project Team Hunger.
Thank you, Denise. All right. Let's move on to Group 6. Wow. Okay.
I'm not sure I'm the one who's supposed to present, but we identified a need. Our target group will be the elderly, and we're looking at geriatrics with type 2 diabetes. We will host an event where we educate persons on the care of the feet. We will also offer foot care to the elderly, so we will have them being cared for by specialists who can take care of trimming the nails and all the other needs they have as it relates to their feet, educate them about diabetic neuropathy, eating properly, monitoring their feet, and so on. The venue will be the Health and Civic Center. We hope to serve 25 persons, and in keeping with November being Diabetes Month, that will be the time that we will serve these persons. The event will be publicized by the PR committee. We will contact homes for the elderly. We can go through churches and news media with a view, of course, to publicizing, and then in the end having some reports in the news so we can have persons being aware of what the Lions Club is doing with these persons, or for these persons, I'm sorry. Resource persons, we have doctors in the club and we plan to utilize their services and expertise. We do also plan to have males and females who will be able to do demonstrations, to assist with the education, and those persons as well will be consulted in preparation of pamphlets that our 25 elderly to be served will be able to take away. Refreshment, we will be advised on low glycemic foods, and these will be specially prepared for the elderly. Costs regarding the venue and the foods, the refreshment, and so on will be determined in subsequent meetings. That's what we have.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Group 6. All right. Group 2. Where are the leaders from Group 2?
Good afternoon.
Hi, Landavine.
I guess we are Group 2. I'm sorry, I stepped out, so I missed the number, and I came in the middle of us moving along. So good afternoon, colleagues. For Group 2, we were given the project on breast cancer, and we looked at several things, but first we had to settle down and determine, one, where we should focus, on this breast cancer. We thought we can do either public awareness or to look at treatments, and we determined we will go with public awareness. And as a lot of persons know about breast cancer, we felt that awareness is to educate and to inform. And so we would look at some of the areas for breast cancer that we don't have a lot of highlights on or hype on, and it's breast cancer in men. So we determined that we would focus on breast cancer in men, and that we would look at pulling together a campaign to launch in October, which is Breast Cancer Month. When looking at it, we also looked at brainstorming again to find out that we would need, if it is a campaign, we would need a tagline, something to catch somebody's attention, and also we would be able to use it to, enhance our marketing strategies. So the tagline suggested by one of our team members, a male, rightfully so, Elroy says, men think, breast cancer, you are at risk too. And I think Sharon is going to type it in the chat, which she has done. Yes, so if you look in the chat, you can see. So the issue then, to have men think about breast cancer and to realize that they too are at risk. We then determined that in order to get the news out to educate, we would need to go to social media as our campaigning tool. We thought about creating a flyer to also look at hardcore media, meaning the television, radio stations, and that sort of things to highlight the need. We are not looking only locally at our respective club, but regionally concerning this thing, because the women will benefit, but also men will be greatly educated. We look at an approximate budget about $30,000, and we thought that we would seek sponsorship, because this is a topic that we can truly find sponsorship who would largely fund this event. We were going to look at sort of digging a bit deeper and grinding out, but we ran out of time. So that is where we left it at in terms of budgeting. We didn't get to go into how we would dissect the budget or how to assign various members. But I can say that this was a team effort. We all pitched in, gave our ideas, and worked it out to our final resolution. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lan Levine. Well done, group 2. Okay, our final group, Savan.
Hi, good evening, Land Moving Beaufort Lions Club, St. Lucia. I was nominated as the chairperson for that committee.
Very well.
Yeah, unfortunately.
That's not unfortunate.
Some time was spent gelling. We assumed ourselves to be a new committee because we had difficulty in finding, not difficulty, but we had spent some time finding a chairperson. Given our 10 minutes, we had to hurry along. We were looking at, or we were tasked with looking at childhood cancer. And the committee decided to go on an education drive where we would target persons, especially parents, who've discovered their child is suffering from cancer, and also to target persons where we form a support group. So an educational campaign. The medium we were to use would be Zoom or other social media. It was agreed that the committee would incorporate the assistance of the marketing and PR committee. So we will get maximum coverage for the event. We were planning a month in advance. So we did not specify whether it was Childhood Cancer Awareness Month or otherwise, but we gave ourselves a month to plan. So the date was put to a month in advance of our planning. Time constraints, and the chairperson's internet got dropped. So Team 7, I was informed that they wrapped up. I'm assuming that a budget was put in place, and given our time constraints, we would have invited the chairperson of the marketing and PR to a subsequent committee meeting where we could fine-tune plans. But this is where I was. I think I got dropped off for about 5 minutes. So anyone from Team 7, Lan Amarel, I believe, could chip in and wrap up for us. That'd be wonderful.
Yes, Lion Marvin. Good afternoon, everyone. So after Lion Marvin got disconnected, we continued speaking as I was appointed secretary. So we had chosen a date, June 22nd, to do the presentation. It was going to be led by Dr. George, which is an lead oncologist in a specific hospital, prestigious hospital. And we were going to have a Zoom presented talk. Our plan was to present flyers to specific schools because, our topic, our target group. Sorry, Lion Marvin, you broke up a bit. Did you mention the topic, the target group?
I don't think I did. I mentioned it briefly, as in persons or parents with children suffering from the disease, and a support group.
Right. Okay, good. So then those would be our target group, and we had intended to do a twofold type of marketing. We would have flyers presented at specific schools, specific locations within hospitals and so forth. And we would have also had on the social media, Facebook, Instagram. We would have had our marketing team prepare such flyer and giving the information of the event, etc. And we would have also followed up with the event with it would have been broken into 2 sections: a presentation by the doctor, giving specific information, and then there was a question and answer segment which would follow at the end. And of course, any persons that were interested in further information would register their email address, and information would be sent to them by email on this talk and probably for subsequent talks. We made a small, quick budget just to prepare the flyers, probably about 200. There was some consideration for Dr. George's transportation, or getting him to some central point where he would present. And there was also some thought about having, well, the location that he would present at, of course, that would have some small amount to it, and then using the Zoom platform. I think that was a point that we got to, in our discussions.
Thank you so much,
Let
Group
me say
7.
thank you to Team 7 and Wendy. Allow me. Team 7, I just got bumped off and they were left without a leader, but they did very well. Thank you, Team 7.
Thank you, thank you. All right. Okay, Lions. Now, I mean, again, for the 10 minutes that you were allocated, Lionism is indeed alive and well in 60B. I mean, if we were to continue to do what we ought to do in terms of promotions and reporting, I think our numbers in terms of the amount of projects we are completing, and so will triple that of what we saw shown yesterday at cabinet meeting. I am very much pleased. I am thrilled to see that within the 10 minutes granted, that persons were able to come up with all these beautiful ideas. And in this case, where we're not like within our clubs and we're more or less strangers, because not many of us were from the same club, and we were able to pull this together, this suggests that we still have Lionism at its core, and we still believe in what we are doing. So congratulations and kudos to all the teams. I think we did well. And I hope by the end of 2021, 2022, some of these projects, if not all of these that were mentioned today, can actually be pulled off within your various clubs. So just to round up this aspect of it, now that we have completed the project and activity breakout rooms, these are just the last pointers I would like to give you as committee chairpersons. When you're having a committee meeting, you are to talk to your members and have a conversation and agree on what you're doing. You are not to be spoken to or spoken at as a committee member. So in other words, you chairpersons, you're not allowed to talk down to anyone. But the main factor of this being a volunteering organization, and we already have persons having their own personalities because we're humans, and today, this morning I might have been fine with trying to attend the meeting this afternoon, but by the time I got to the meeting this afternoon, whatever happened during the day, work-wise, family-wise, or whatever else could have tripped me off, the last thing I need to be doing at 5 p.m., 6 p.m. in the afternoon is for somebody to be talking at me. So avoid that as a chairperson. Be generous. Motivate your members within your committee. Always compliment them. Provide the necessary tools that they require. They need a letter to be dropped off for whatever particular area. Follow up with the secretary, whether it be the recording secretary within the committee who's preparing it and in turn passing it to the president to be signed, or whether it be the secretary for the club themselves. Follow up on that to ensure that the necessaries are done for your projects. Avoid harassing your committee members. You told me just yesterday that I need to follow up with Dr. XYZ. No need to call me today to ask me if I did so, right? Once I have that feedback, I would give it to you. Do not try to encourage any form of harassment at all. Have the team as team players. From the moment you start having one shying away, you as the chairperson, reach out to that one personally, not within the committee meeting, separate. Next day, later the night, find out what is happening. Why is it that you used to be such a good member of that committee and you have now almost disappeared on me? Trust your team. Trust that whatever job that you have given to them will be completed by that person. Also know who your team members are. Because if I am the one you could guarantee will bring the banner or bring the whatever paraphernalia at the project, then know that I am the one for that. Do not expect Wendy to be bringing ice and you know Wendy walking, right? Know your team members so you know who are the ones that will be bringing whatever necessaries at the project. Let the crew know how to plan for their success at the end of the day. Ensure everybody's on board with the project so they all know what is the goal at the end of the project. And at the end of your project, come together and celebrate the success, whether it be just a row between the committee members or whether it be you choose to include in your budget as a chairperson, a mint for everybody, a lollipop for everybody, whatever it is. Celebrate the success at the end of the project. At this point, I want us to know that Lions International have provided every Lions Club member with the option to use Connect. We know a lot of clubs, a lot of islands are still on curfew. You may not have a Zoom account that you have access to. So in turn, we have Connect, which Lions International have given us. In the event you're not aware of what Connect is almost like Zoom, except for this one, International pays for it for you. Or in other words, we pay for it so International could give it to us. So the next slide here shows you how Connect works. I just want to end the presentation with showing you this so that you're aware of this
My name is
feature
Hannah,
that is available.
and I'll be walking you through how to schedule a meeting in Connect, a digital product offered by Lions Clubs International and run through third-party software called Big Blue Button. The first step is to log in with your Lion account credentials. We can get to the login screen by selecting Member Login on the LCI homepage. This brings us to the login page. For the purposes of this video, we are going to assume that you already have a Lion account. However, if you don't, you can sign up for an account by selecting the Register button. Once you are logged in, we are brought to the Member Portal homepage. We are then going to select Connect from the digital product lineup. We are now in Connect. Before we get into the details of scheduling a meeting, let's review the different key aspects of the Connect homepage. There are two sections you can choose from once in Connect: Online Meetings, which we are currently in, and Messages, which brings you to your in-product communications. If this is my first time logging into Connect, I will have the option to take a tour. After the first login, you have the option to take the tour again as needed. The Resources section is also a great opportunity to learn more about the digital tool. Now that we've got a brief tour of the homepage, let's schedule a meeting. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will schedule a future meeting. We start this by selecting Meet Later. This brings us to the meeting details screen, where we enter the meeting title, description, and timing details.
Okay, Lansha, please stop it. Let me see if it could be any better if I were to present it. Thank you, dear.
Hello, my name is Hannah, and I'll be walking you through a Member Portal homepage. We are then going to select Connect in the digital product lineup. Before we get into the details of scheduling a meeting, let's review the different key aspects of the Connect homepage. There are two sections you can choose from once in Connect: Online Meetings, which we are currently in, and Messages, which brings you to your in-product communications. If this is my first time logging into Connect, I will have the option to take a tour. After the first login, you have the option to take the tour again as needed. The Resources section is also a great opportunity to learn more about the digital tool. Now that we've got a brief tour of the homepage, let's schedule a meeting. For the purposes of this tutorial, we will schedule a future meeting. We start this by selecting Meet Later. Thus to the meeting details screen, where we enter the meeting title, description, and timing details. It's important here to select the correct time zone for your meeting. Once finished, I select Next. Now I can select the individuals I would like to attend my meeting. If the person I would like to invite is already in the system, I can search for them under the Individuals tab. Once I find the correct person, I select the plus icon, which adds them to the meeting participants box. If I cannot find the person I'm looking for in the system, I can also add them manually by entering in their email in the box. And clicking the plus icon. I also have the option to select groups of people. These can either be groups I'm already assigned to, or groups I have created. To see all individuals within a group, select the down arrow. Once I found the group I would like to add, I select the plus icon. It is important to note that only 75 participants can be invited to a Connect meeting. Once I have everyone I would like to invite, I select Next. This brings me to the meeting review screen, where I can make sure all of the information for my meeting is correct. This screen provides you with a couple of options. I can either cancel the meeting and lose all of my work. I can select Back, which brings me back to the previous screen. I can select Save as Draft, which saves my meeting and does not send out meeting invitations. Or I can select Schedule, which saves my meeting and sends out meeting invitations to the meeting participants. Once the meeting is scheduled, a pop-up box will appear, and I will select OK. I am then brought back to the Connect homepage. If the meeting is occurring within an hour of the scheduled start time, I have the option to start the meeting now. Selecting Details brings me back to the meeting's details screen, where I have the option to edit the meeting if needed. To start the meeting immediately, you can select Meet Now, which brings you to the participant screen where you can continue on with the steps we've already mentioned. And that is how you schedule a meeting in Connect. Thank you for viewing this tutorial.
Thank you very much, Lions. So that is the newest feature that we've been given for booking or setting meetings as provided by Lions International. Note that it is in beta stage, which suggests there are things that still may not work as well as we hope. And there are times that when it may not work as best as we would like. But so far with the testing that I've done, I haven't actually had a meeting in it, but with the testing that I've done, it's working well. And if you're having a committee meeting, the likeliness of you having more than 75 persons in that meeting, very slim. So it is definitely something that you can look into within your various clubs as an option for having online meetings. Here is the end of my presentation for today. And Sherwin, I will hand it back to you.
Thank you, Wendy. There was one question that was asked, does Connect facilitate recording?
Yes, it does.
Yes, good. Lions and Leos, we have had an excellent presentation, and I can glean some takeaways from that presentation. It shows that we can plan a project within 15 minutes, because based on the information that you were given 10, and I believe if 5 more minutes, you could have delivered a complete project. So your committee meetings do not have to be long. Once you know what you're about, you can plan a meeting, plan a project, and have the participants be active and be out of Connect in 30 minutes. I've also recognized that some clubs are already on the way to having projects for Child Month in May. There was also a project for Cancer Awareness Month in October and Diabetes Awareness Month in November. So you have at least ideas for your projects for the remainder of the year.
For the first half of the year.
Yes. Are there any questions from Wendy?
Okay, great. Crystal
No
clear?
questions, and I'm not seeing any in the chat. So it seems that you did a pretty awesome job then, Wendy.
Thank you so much, Lan Sherwin.
A question. Is there a limit to the use of the Lions Connect by a club?
When you say limited use, you mean in terms of attendees or in terms of meetings?
Meetings, yeah.
Oh, no, there is not a limit.
You can use it, okay. All right.
Yeah, you can use it all day if you like.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay.
So I think that's probably one of the best kept secrets, Wendy. So club members now know that they have a facility that you've already paid for. So there's no excuse to say I don't have access to Zoom. I have to pay for Zoom to schedule your meeting. Lions Club has facilitated us by having Connect. So you can do your committee meetings via Connect. The tutorial is there, but I'm sure that Wendy, for those persons who had challenges seeing and listening, I'm sure that Wendy will share it. So share the link so that you can go and go through the tutorial again and familiarize yourself with the use of Connect.
Will do.
Wendy, on behalf of the District 60B Global Leadership Team, we want to present this certificate of appreciation to you in recognition of your presentation on Club Committee Chairperson to the incoming officers school, the virtual edition. So we want to thank you for that. Of course, you'll get your copy by email so that you can have it stored.
You mean printed? Have it printed?
Yes, but stored and printed. You can print it and store it, or you can have it stored in the cloud for it to be retrieved when you want to retrieve it. I know we're not killing trees anymore, so we're storing everything in the cloud. Yes, so thank you so much for that. I will now take opportunity to ask Elaine Beatrice McDonald, past zone chair, zone 3B of the Lions Club of Castries, to move the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Lion Sherwin. We know that gratitude is said to be an expression of the quality of being thankful. It is also a readiness to show appreciation. And this afternoon, it is my pleasure to express our gratitude to Lion Wendy and her team for the insightful presentation that highlighted the roles and responsibilities of committee chairpersons. The practical session in the breakout room produced many great projects, and I am sure they will be developed and implemented by the clubs. I am also confident that our committee chairpersons are now more informed and eager to commence the year. Thanks to the Lion who invoked spiritual guidance for this session. My apologies, I didn't remember the name, but we want to say thank you for invoking spiritual guidance for the session. And to the GLT team, we say thank you for once again a well-organized session. Our gratitude will also go to all our participants who gave up their Sunday siesta to participate in this session, and I'm hoping that we will continue into the afternoon and the evening as we follow the other sessions. So today I would just want to say on behalf of everyone, a big thank you to all.
Thank you, Len Beatrice. And as Lions, we are always ready to step up to the plate. You'll recognize that when Lion Mervyn dropped out, one of his committee members filled in, and the designated person for the vote of thanks, you recognize, was on the phone just now, just called to say that they could not get in. And at short notice, I asked Len Beatrice, and she said, yes, boss. And there we go. Thank you, Len Beatrice, for stepping in at the last moment to do this vote of thanks for us. So thank you, Lions and Leos, for participating. We move on to the next session, session 12, this afternoon, presidents and vice presidents. And I'm sure that the presenter, we look forward to seeing all of you again and more at 5 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time as we go through presidents and vice presidents. And then our final session is scheduled for 8 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time as we look at LCF coordinators. So you still have a couple minutes to get that siesta back in and be ready for us at 5 p.m. Really look forward to seeing you. Do have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone.
So Line Wendy. Line Wendy.
Yes, Line Judy.
The connects that we just spoke about. I just wondered, is there a time limit to the length of the meeting?
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's not like Zoom with the 40 minutes and you have to be logged
No,
in.
remember, it's not totally free. Eh? We paying.
No, I know. I know.
You've already paid for it.
We already paid for it, but they could still have a time limit. So I needed
No,
to.
they don't.
No.
So my reason, is that I remember hearing that it could be used for committee meetings, but I don't see why not for club meetings too.